Voting is currently open for HIP 54 and 55. HIP 54 seems to be very straightforward and is not receiving much criticism, as it is basically an overhaul of the proof of coverage targeting mechanism that will greatly improve the targeting behavior throughout the network. On the other hand, there is HIP 55, which is a proposed change to how the proof of coverage challenges are submitted to the Helium blockchain to allow for further network stability and to lower the hardware complexity and costs of individual hotspots. This change includes moving the responsibility of proof of coverage challenge creation from the hotspots themselves to the validators. With this also comes the migration of 0.9% HNT economic rewards from the hotspot owners to the validators. A lot of people's frustration comes immediately after hearing that the rewards to hotspot owners is again being lowered, which is understandable after some of the interruptions and issues that have come up over the last weeks and months that has reduced and impacted Helium hotspot owners' rewards. But there are tremendous benefits to this HIP, mainly that this task migration will make the network far more stable and predictable. It will also take a large processing load off of individual hotspots, ultimately eliminating the syncing issues people have been having, as well as removing issues like relayed hotspots and SD card overload, just to name a few. Let's take a look at the details in today's video. Hello everybody and welcome back to another video here in the Crypto Compound channel. Thank you all so much for being here. I hope you're having a great day. Please hit that like and subscribe on the way in. It really helps support the channel and I'll really appreciate it. Today's video, we are going to be discussing the open votes that currently have approximately 17 hours left on them. They are HIP 54 and HIP 55. We are primarily going to be talking about HIP 55 in this video, as HIP 54 is far less controversial and far easier to understand. We will discuss some of the pros and the cons of HIP 55 and some of the largest criticisms of it as well. And of course, yes, HNT rewards to hotspot owners will be reduced as a result of HIP 55 here, but we will discuss that trade-off and the reason why I am voting the way I am. Now, with regards to HIP 54 here, we can see that almost 100% of the voters here are in favor of HIP 54, and that is primarily due to the fact that this is an updated mechanism for how the network will actually target new hotspots. As you can see here, the current targeting mechanism relies on a global list of asserted hotspots. This list, as the network grows, is increasingly expensive to maintain and examine. Additionally, this list does not support garbage collection, so inactive hotspots are counted towards targeting probability, leading to targeting skews in hexes with many inactive hotspots. As we go down, we can see some further detailed explanations of how this will work and some of the other basic HIP sections here, all of which really don't impact HNT rewards. It should make the network more efficient. It should clean up the network and make targeting far more effective moving forward. Now, in terms of HIP 55 here, the validator challenges, this is the HIP that has been getting a lot of pushback that I've seen across multiple channels here in the community. However, down here we can see that actually that 96% of voting power here has been allocated towards passing HIP 55. And of course, based on the amount of HNT and votes, we can see that the larger wallets are the ones that are voting for this HIP. There are a lot more smaller wallets voting against this HIP. Now, what this HIP comes down to is it really takes the process of proof of coverage challenge creation and it moves it from the hotspot owner and the hotspot device to the actual validators. With this migration of work also comes the migration of the reward. As you can see here, this is where it describes the migration of the reward from the hotspot owner to the validator network. They also give a direct link to HIP 10, which we can take a look at, which outlines the actual breakdown here of how the HNT is currently rewarded. And as we can see here, POC challenges, this is the piece that will be migrated now from hotspot owners to the validator network. And of course, a lot of people are not happy with this just from hearing it right off the bat. However, there are a tremendous amount of benefits that we will reap from this HIP. And as is explained in several posts here in the Discord chat, we can see that we might, even with the reduced 0.9% in rewards to hotspot owners, we might actually experience an increase in rewards due to the consistency and predictability of how the rewards should work moving forward. Now, this person here says exactly that. He says, it sounds to me like some of us would actually get more rewards due to this HIP when you factor in downtime lost to syncing. As you can see here, he shows us this graph, which is very similar to one of my miner hotspots. I had about the same week off there a few weeks ago, and I received 0 HNT mining rewards. We have to remember that if those reward days are being considered, this might actually increase our HNT rewards over the long term, because we're only losing a very small amount of HNT rewards. However, the downtime is going to be minimized. Now, of course, with all of this happening, we still have some people who subscribe to the church that validators are bad, they are for rich folk, and now more rewards is pushing them, taking away incentive of deploying miners. Guys, we have to remember, I don't agree with this person's thought process. I personally don't have a problem with giving HNT rewards to the people that are doing the work, and if the validators are able to do this work and make the network more stable and more predictable, then they deserve that 0.9 HNT rewards for that service. Of course, we have to remember the validators are not these people that are trying to take down the HNT, the Helium network. They are also, these people and these validators have a larger stake in Helium than any individual hotspot owner does, including myself. These people want nothing more for the network to work even better and better each day than any of us do. So I think that if they are going to be doing that work and they can do that work better than the traditional hotspots, then I think that that is very fair to give them that 0.9 more percent HNT rewards for that service. Now, we've seen some of the pushback, some of the things that people are not happy with. However, let's look at what the real benefits here from this HIP will be. There are a good amount, and actually Amir Halim mentions it here directly in a Reddit post just the other day. He says, reasons to vote yes. No more hotspot syncing and snapshot issues, no more relaying or relayed challengers, no more port forwarding or firewall problems, no more SD card issues, no more peer issues or IP address mismatches. Data consumption will be a fraction of what it is today. Hotspots will be cheaper due to the reduced hardware requirements. And then he says, of course, reasons to vote no, 0.9% less rewards. His point being here that the benefits far outweigh the drawbacks of this vote. And as you can see, he is replying to this on someone's Reddit thread that says, vote no for this. It will decrease our already horrible rewards. So guys, that is really what it comes down to. Amir outlined it very clearly in that post. He also does mention that stuff here in the Discord, and he does make a few other very important comments here that we will discuss. Now, as you can see here, Hashcode is also explaining some of these benefits that Amir mentioned in that Reddit thread, and Amir also is in here, and he mentions, as you can see down below, he says also no syncing, SD card issues, port forwarding. So he's reiterating these benefits to people here in the HIP55 Discord channel. And it is very important to also mention that this HIP is required for the light hotspot function to work. As you can see here, he says it's one of the components needed for light hotspots to function. Now, guys, down below here, Amir actually explains in a little bit more detail how the reliability and stability of the network will work. Down here, he says more hotspots will beacon and witness consistently. Right now, beaconing is highly dependent on how well the peer-to-peer network works, and witnessing fails about 30 to 50% of the time due to peer-to-peer issues. Somebody then directly asks, so we should expect a little increase, and Amir clearly says he does not know, but it will make them less inconsistent, which is very, very good and will increase the stability. Now, again, Hashcode addresses directly what one of the main goals of this HIP is, and he says getting to stable and predictable is 100% a goal of this HIP. Guys, that is incredibly important to recognize, and I will be voting yes for this HIP. I think that the benefits far, far outweigh the 0.9% HNT rewards that we will be missing out on as hotspot owners. I think that the reliability and predictability and stability of the network moving forward with this work being done by the validator network should really, really increase the value of the HNT network, and also stabilize the HNT earnings, make them more predictable, and keep the miners online longer and in sync longer. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are below, if you agree with any of the nuanced points that were made here in the Discord channel. Now, of course, the vote is ending within the next 16 hours, and of course, 96.13% of the HNT has been voted towards passing this HIP, so it looks like it should pass. However, let me know what your guys' thoughts are down below. As I mentioned, will be voting yes for HIP54 and this HIP55. I do think we will see a great benefit from the work being done by the validators moving forward. I am also very excited to see that Light Hotspot Testnet come online. We will have a separate video dedicated towards what that is going to look like. But let me know what your guys' thoughts are in the comment section below. But that is all I have for today's video. Thank you for watching until the end. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Please hit that like and subscribe if you have not already. But just like that, this video is over, and I'll see you next time.